The HP ZBook Create G7 is a high-end mobile workstation aimed at the mobile creative workforce like photographers and video editors, competing with premium laptops like the Dell XPS 15 and 16-inch Apple MacBook Pro. Does the ZBook Create justify its upmarket price tag? Let's find out. The G7 is robust and has a solid build with military standard 810H certification. It looks and feels premium with smart edges, vents and speaker grills. Lighter than normal for a mobile workstation laptop at 1.92 kilograms or 4.23 pounds thanks to the aluminium alloy chassis. There's no flex on the keyboard deck or the display lid, which is well protected. It shares the same chassis design as its sibling, the HP ZBook Studio G7 that I reviewed back in November 2020. I'll leave a link above. There are two long rubber feet with a bit more height than average to cope with the thermal heat coming out of the ZBook Create G7. To get inside you need to remove 7 screws to open the bottom cover. Unfortunately, due to its slim dimensions, memory is soldered on, so make sure you get the maximum 32GB of memory when you order. Thankfully, the M.2 SSD is removable along with the 83 Wh battery. The 15.6-inch Full HD display on this review model has excellent viewing angles from the IPS panel. Colours are generally good and rated at 72% NTSC. There is a 4K IPS Dreamcolor 10-bit DCI P3 panel if you need accurate colours for work, or a 4K OLED Bright View touchscreen if you require this feature. Brightness at 400 nits is very good. There is slight glare with strong sunlight, but the excellent backlighting and anti-glare coating keeps it down to a minimum. The screen is surrounded by narrow display bezels with a thin webcam module and Windows Hello IR sensors located at the top of the screen. On the left we have a Kensington lock, a USB Type-A port 5 gigabits per second signaling rate with charging, and headphone microphone combo. On the right we have a power connector, 2 USB Type-C Thunderbolt 3 ports with HP Sleep and Charge, 1 mini DisplayPort 1.4 port, and an SD card reader. The wireless card inside is an Intel Wi-Fi 6 AX201 2x2 and Bluetooth 5 combo with vPro. Wireless performance was very good with a Wi-Fi 6 access point nearby and in the next room. We had no trouble connecting a Bluetooth speaker to the Create G7. Music streaming was reliable throughout testing. The HP Premium Quiet keyboard is an excellent typing keyboard. Large scissor keys in a chiclet keyboard design. There's plenty of travel at 1.3mm and excellent feedback when touch typing. The keys are quiet for environments that demand it, plus you have the convenience of 2-level backlit keys and it's spill resistant. F12 is a programmable key where you can set a shortcut to open a favourite app or website. The F8 key turns off the microphone to avoid those embarrassing Zoom calls. 2 bugbears with this keyboard. 1. Lack of a number pad, which could be a deal breaker for some people. And secondly, the keyboard layout could have made better use of the dimensions. The vertical cursor buttons are condensed and the power button is hidden between the delete and print screen keys. The glass clickpad is a generous size and comfortable to use. The integrated buttons are quiet with good feedback. Finger gesture is accurate and glide action on the clickpad is smooth. Audio tuned by Bang & Olufsen comprises of 2 stereo speakers above the keyboard and 2 small woofers underneath. One of the better sounding laptops on the market. Great mids and lows along with ample 150Hz bass from the 2 woofers underneath. Volume is incredibly loud with good balance. The webcam is a 720p HD IR camera with HP world-facing microphone dual-array digital microphones. Video quality is above average, good enough for a spot of Zoom or Teams while working or schooling from home. Processing on this review model comes from an Intel Core i7-10850H, running at 2.7 GHz base frequency up to 5.1 GHz with Intel Turbo Boost technology. 6 cores with a power consumption TDP of 45 watts. There's 32GB of DDR4 of dual-channel memory and a Samsung 512GB PCIe NVMe M.2 SSD inside the ZBook Create G7. The Comet Lake processor and graphical power from the RTX 2070 GPU delivered excellent benchmark results. On the Cinebench stress testing, the Create G7 scored 6,417 points in CPU multi-core and 1,186 points in single-core. PC Mark 10 benchmark produced a score 5,301 points and 11,070 points on superposition benchmark. Geekbench 5 resulted in a single core score of 1,282 and 6,099 in multi-core. 3D Mark Fire Strike Ultra benchmarking resulted in a score 3,684 and a Time Spy overall score 5,975. The Intel i7-10750H sits between the AMD Ryzen 7 4980U and the Intel i9-9880H. These results translate to a very good real-world performance. Using Adobe Creative Cloud apps like Photoshop, the Create G7 can easily handle photo editing. Editing and encoding 4K video with Premiere Pro is a breeze too. Everyday work tasks like multiple Chrome tabs open, music streaming in the background, checking your emails on Outlook is very responsive. HP uses what they call vapor force thermals to keep fan noise and heat down to a minimum. In reality, fan noise gets loud when under heavy load, but with general usage it stays quiet. The Create G7 is warm to hot all the time, which is a concern as the CPU is throttled and therefore never hits its turbo peak. The underside of the chassis becomes very warm with medium to heavy workloads, along with a hot to touch keyboard. Not much of an issue if you're using this laptop at a desk or not pushing the components to their max. Here's a list of the target audience of the HP ZBook Create G7: 3D artists, video editors, game and VR developers. Graphics is taken care of by the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 1070 Max-Q with 8GB of GDDR6 memory. The Max-Q variants are clocked lower and work in a more power-saving state. It is based on the same TU106 chip with 2304 shaders and 8GB of GDDR6 memory connected by a 256-bit interface 12 GHz. If you're interested in gaming, this laptop will play any single player title at 1080p easily, but it'll only handle the toughest 4K games if you dial back the settings. It's a joy to play games like Doom Eternal in high quality settings. Visually, you will also see the difference in playing titles like Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is graphically intensive. Of course, simple and popular titles like Among Us and Dishonored will not break a sweat for the RTX 1070 Max-Q. HP provided a range of security tools to protect your ZBook, from a fingerprint sensor for biometric authentication to facial recognition using the Windows Hello IR sensors. There's also a TPM chip for hardware encryption. On the software front, HP have a good selection of security tools, from HP SureSense to guard against malware attacks to HP SureStart, protecting down to BIOS level. The Create G7 has a large 6-cell 83Wh lithium-ion battery to cope with the top-end CPU and GPU components. Battery life is short of a full working 8-hour day. With general use, expect around 6 to 7 hours. Thankfully, you can quickly charge the laptop to 50% in 30 minutes with the 200-watt Slim Smart external AC power adapter. Top 3 pros and cons before buying the HP ZBook Create G7. Potent performance. The i7-10750H processor has ample power for most creative tasks you throw at it. The RTX 2070 Max-Q GPU is stupidly quick outside of a dedicated gaming laptop, perfect for Adobe apps during the day and some decent high-setting gaming after hours. Premium built quality. The ZBook has a beautifully sculptured lightweight design. The slim chassis is solid with very little if any flex. The hinges are reassuringly smooth to open and close. Overall, the build quality makes it feel worth the price. Awesome audio. The Bang & Olufsen tuned 4 speakers sound far better than most laptops on the market. As soon as you play some streaming music on the Create G7, you can hear the difference. Definitely up there with Apple in this area. Toasty Hot. The Create G7 gets very warm while downloading and installing programs. Underneath around the bottom vent and on the left, same with the keyboard, which is warm to the touch. Soldered RAM. Unfortunately, annoyingly, the memory is soldered on, so make sure you order the maximum your budget can stretch to. If you need upgradable memory slots or more than the maximum of 32GB, look at the ZBook Power G7 or Fury G7 instead. No webcam shutter. Strangely, HP didn't include a mechanical webcam shutter, or with some of their other models, an electronic shutter with the press of a key. There's healthy competition in the content creator workstation category. What are the other alternatives to the ZBook Create G7? In no particular order, here's some to consider. Apple MacBook Pro 16, Asus ZenBook Pro Duo 15 OLED, Acer Concept D7, Gigabyte Aero 17 HDR, MSI Creator 17, Dell XPS 15, Razer Blade 15 Studio Edition. The HP ZBook Create G7 is a worthy competitor to the Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch. The build quality is first rate for a slim mobile workstation, and the keyboard is wonderful to type on. The display options are superb for content creators to use, and audio is excellent. Performance can easily keep up with most things thrown at it, from Adobe Premiere Pro to Unity, thanks to the i7-10750H and the rapid NVIDIA RTX 2070 Max-Q GPU. However, the ZBook Create G7 falls short of greatness. Even with general usage, the Create G7 feels like a hot water bottle on your lap. Under heavy load, the RTX 2070 heats the chassis up to uncomfortable levels. If you want a cool running laptop, look at the ZBook Studio G7 sibling with Quattro GPUs. Battery life is so-and-so, plus pricing is out of the reach of most people. If you can live with the heat, the HP ZBook Create G7 is a deserving premium mobile workstation for content creators. What do you guys think? Leave your comments and discuss below. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the HP ZBook Create G7 laptop. Please click on the like button if you enjoyed this review video, and subscribe if you'd like to watch more of our tech videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.